Okay, so just recovered from a power outage. We started playing this game for about 2.5 minutes before everything just flicked off. So let's try again, shall we? Because it looks like the game did not save my progress. I've never played Dragon's Dogma before. I don't know very much about it. I've heard it compared to Souls, but I'm guessing more in like the Monster Hunter sense than the like actual FromSoft Souls game sense. I'm somewhat familiar with the pawn system, having heard it compared to the Gambit system in something like Final Fantasy 13 or 12, but otherwise don't know what to expect from this. It is blind for me, but I did just see the first 2 minutes of it before the power flicked off, so we'll be starting that over, I suppose. The game saves mechanics are janky. Infrequently auto saves, but it has a save option in the pause menu. Okay, so you should probably just get in the habit of saving. I selected load game before to test it, and it just put me back at the very beginning of the game, so. We had just met our first pawns when the power flicked off before. UI for the game is a bit busy. I might try to adjust the sound settings. Like there are certain things that seem really loud. Let me try turning music down. That seems louder. Maybe sound effects down, keep voice high. Then I'll turn OBS up. Let me know if this is too loud or too quiet as we progress here.
The dragon's roost is just beyond. We should hurry.
We near our journey's end. The final station of our
Do like the immediate dragon. Because I was supposed to be looking at the dragon in awe like I did the first time. Pay heed to the world around you. Some ledges may be scaled. Okay. On loyalty never falters. This is where I was when the screen flashed black for me. I don't know when y'all lost stream. But it was about to tell me their names. Well, I guess I got a little bit further in. I think there were some goblins down here that I said go on. Thinking we're gonna get some, like... Oh, I got my ass kicked, okay. It's gonna be like Xenoblade Chronicles where everyone's yelling stuff constantly. Hobgoblins are weak against cold. I shall restore your health. I don't know why the audio just got super quiet like that. Is it because I'm like low in health? It's interesting that Capcom seemed really nervous about like immediately throwing you into gameplay. I know that was definitely a thing in the 2010s, but I didn't think of it affecting Japanese developers quite as much. I want to change the camera. Oh, you have unsaved changes. Exit anyway. Start to save changes. They made this with a Western audience in mind. That doesn't surprise me. And this didn't save.
Goblin!
This looks remarkably similar to that opening hallway in Dark Souls 1.
I sense another presence. A mighty beast.
Now, attack!
Right this way. Come, Master.
Okay, I need this game to slow down for a second. Like,
More bodies.
right now it's being very extra.
Must be.
They just recently announced a sequel for this, right? Like 10 years later.
Lure them down and strike!
Their screams fill the blood tide.
Strike! Let the harpy see!
Take my fire!
Monsters have made a shambles of this place.
This way!
'Tis far stronger than a common goblin.
We'll rout them in a single charge!
Let's make use of these explosives.
Rain steel upon it!
The creatures look kind of cool.
They're a threat from where we hide.
I have to think about it, but this might be the most abrupt game opening I've ever experienced.
I'll give it my steel.
A hobgoblin arisen. Be wary.
Like, I would have expected to not even have pawns for maybe 30 minutes or so, or an hour.
Now, my fire is yours. I'll strike with fire before it recovers. It hates fire.
I'll draw its attention!
I have it.
Can I even do anything against enemies in the air like that? Or do I have to just wait for them to shoot them down?
Balls.
Say them before they can use their voice!
I'll strike with fire before it recovers. Now, my fire is yours. It hates fire. I have it. Beware the harpy's sword.
Okay, so I played it enough to... I think I know why people were saying... we're invoking Dark Souls. I don't think it's anything like Dark Souls, and I should probably wipe that from my brain right now, lest I unfairly judge it from this point forward.
Let's join it! Just within range of our steel!
More like Devil May Cry so far.
They can use their voice.
Arisen! This way, sir!
I'm gonna try to just play it until we get to a point where the game slows down, and then try to think about it from there. Right now, this opening is extremely overwhelming, though.
Feel it close by, Arisen.
Arisen! This
Stay
way,
ever
sir!
ready as we advance.
Okay, so I can open chests, Harspid juice.
Leave it to me.
Our army is routed.
We cannot
Tis
suffer the
plain
worm to
truth.
work any further atrocities.
Beyond that grand door, the dragon makes its roost.
I can't tell what lines I'm supposed to be paying attention to and which lines are dumb pawn barks. I'm guessing the Salty guy is important, and Morgana and Quince are not.
A chimera arisen.
I'll take care
Okay,
of
so how do I lock? Do I lock in this game? Maybe I don't.
Traveling foe. Any that would target the arisen are mine. Fall silent.
Attack while I hold it!
Oh no. Climb on monsters. Yeah, I think there's a thing when my health is low where all the audio like drops out. Yeah, the enemy design looks cool. It's a pretty cool looking chimera.
Strike at it with magic.
Rain down will seal the beast's magic!
Slaying the goat will seal the beast's magic.
Sever the tail!
I'm gonna sever the tail or the... Okay.
Magic will steal the lion's head. No, they won't be advantage.
So they're giving me advice about actions I don't have access to, right? Like, the only thing I can do is sword and board stuff. Maybe that's stuff that makes sense when I have more control over my own build, or when I have more characters to work together on.
Aim for the head. Hold on. I'll seal its magic.
Maybe I should just think about this as It's like Monster Hunter, but more accessible for me, because I haven't been able to get into Monster Hunter for lots of reasons. I kind of like that the healing is a positional thing you have to stand in. How does body part damage work? Is it like Monster Hunter, where it's just completely arbitrary? It's not conveyed to you how much health a body part has? Some of the enemy animations feel pretty cool too. I kind of like the little slowdown effect when you hit stuff, but so it's not taking damage. Does that mean that I have to hit it somewhere on its back or something? Is it that it only takes damage in the face now or something? Okay. So other parts of its health bar are reserved for its tail and goat head, I guess? And since those are dead, any attempt to hit its body doesn't do anything, I guess. It's a noble thing to try to have a fight against a large enemy that's not just plinking them in the feet, but...
Now choose, flee, or step forward.
Why is this so quiet?
Take hold of the
Hey, thanks, Jerry. How you been?
You're super awesome.
So,
Appreciate that.
I'm going to try very hard to not let that opening like poison the well of this game, but that may have been one of the worst openings I've ever played in terms of like first impressions. I know this game is reviewed well, and it might be the kind of thing where it's not for me, but that was horrible. I'm sorry. If you're a big Dragon's Dogma fan, either now on Twitch or on YouTube in the future, I don't even know what to say about that. It definitely feels like it's one of those like, oh god, we need to get our game in front of them. Go, 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 go. Come on. You load in, you play immediately, you know. Story immediately, barking NPCs immediately, all the worst things about like Xenoblade Chronicles. But I acknowledge that it could have just been a flaw of the opening, and that now we'll actually play the game and it'll be fine. Yeah, that felt like if I was at like PAX or E3 or something, and they were just playing that on a loop to like kind of show what the game felt like. I don't know why the audio is like so quiet here. I have the OBS turned all the way up. I can't even hear it in my own ear. I think something that bothers me more than like a game being outright bad is when a game feels like it threatens to have depth and then just doesn't. Like that fight was mash the X button, but they're all yelling stuff like, you know, cut the tail off, so you use magic on the head, and it's like I can't do any of those things. Like all I can do is mash the X button. Are you serious? All right, now they're giving me a character creator, so let's pretend. I'm just gonna try to wipe my brain. That didn't happen. Hey everybody, I've never played Dragon's Dogma before. I've heard it compared to Souls, and I know something about the pawn system. Maybe one time in the distant past I played a weird combat demo for it at PAX or something. Okay, sure. It's going to require me to type here. Okay. Really? M. Bison. Definitely M. Bison. Let's just go with Mega Man. Select a base body. A halfling? Yeah, okay, I'll be a halfling, why not? Those all sound... That one sounds different. I love how some of them are just pitch-shifted versions of earlier ones. Let's have a really deep-voiced halfling. I don't think I want to make more detailed edits, but I'm curious what all they let you do here. The super old, tiny halfling man. This is perfect. This is always what I wanted. Ready to play. Waves lap at the shore near your time. Oh, okay, that loads too fast. I'm gonna keep trying to figure out the game audio. I don't know why they're... Maybe it has too much dynamic range or something. There are parts that are really loud and parts that are like whisper quiet. Like I can't even hear it right now in my own ear. Love that his old man head does not look appropriate for his halfling body.
Hear ye, hear ye! The prophets have spoken, friends. The dragon's return is nigh. Join the honourable Duke's ranks and help us be rid of the fell beast. The day's come to lay down rod and reel and take up the sword.
Look at the options again in a second when it lets me. Okay, so if the problem is the game just begins with an unrelated E3 combat demo, that's fine. I can disregard that. I won't let that color my perception of the game. This feels like the beginning of a game.
It's the dragon!
And his Dogma. For the negative stuff I said about the opening, this is the best character I've ever created in a game on stream. I'm very pleased. Short old man. I wonder if they patched that in. Like, that wasn't actually there originally. I'm not appealing for, you know, 3 hours of cutscene or excessive gating or the opposite of how this game opened, but it was definitely the most abrupt. Interesting. Yeah, it almost feels like you're starting in, like, you start with an NPC you don't know, just being like, go in your menu to equip your lantern. It's like, that's the first, okay. Seems odd. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They all look like chonky boys. Even the Chimera earlier. Oh, but now it's giving me tutorials for how to play it. Okay. This doesn't work fine. That's kind of neat. Feels like a better enemy to demonstrate the climb on enemies mechanic, if that's something that's like core to the experience. He's much bigger, and climbing on him seems to make more sense. So my stamina meter's in the bottom left. I think I see it training now. Oh, that was weird. Cool. Pretty normal stuff, you know? Big thing shows up, overwhelms you, kills you, gives you something to look forward to later when you're strong enough to fight it. This is fine. I like this. You know what happened to my subtitles? Oh, he's not speaking English. Okay. Problem is that game audio is not me in OBS. I can barely hear it. It's a neat opening. I like this idea that a lot of people played this game and like... Is that a heart? A bunch of people played this game and just collectively forgot that opening before this part. There's this music that's playing that doesn't seem to coincide with the pace of the cutscene at all. I like this though, this is cool. Little old man still alive. Oh, it's like a known problem with the game. Okay, I mean, I can try to do that here after this scene. So I have to do those in Windows? Chief Adaro's house. Save. And continue. It's always async, I know, right? I'm gonna pause the recording real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, we've tried an audio fix. I don't know if this is actually gonna work. I might have to pause it again in a second.
Ah, the horror. The horror of it.
What? Why is this happening?
Yeah, it sounds like it's trying to send something to like a central channel. Okay, so I don't think that fixed it. Add you an empty flask. You might fill it here. I'm gonna assume that computer allies are fine at mage and healing. Maybe that's a mistake. I don't think so. I can look again. Audio, just this. Turn on VSync to see if that's the problem, but I can change it later. Okay, thank you. I won't stress out about it then. Don't have an MB flask, got it. I don't know if I'm not supposed to hear them. I don't hear them at all. Hear that, though it's still very quiet. They're literally dead silent. I don't know if they're supposed to be. My character reading their lips? Yeah, I'll pause again and try to at least revert it to what it was on before. Heard that fine. Okay, so I've maybe fixed it. I went into the config files for the game and set it to stereo, which I don't know if that's right yet, but let me walk around a little bit more. No. The game still seems really quiet in my ear. Surely have aught for you to do. Try turning the in-game audio settings back up. Turn the OBS audio up a bit. I'm gonna get into another cutscene to see if the cutscene voices are gone. What's up?
That man you are speaking with, he's of the Pawn Legion. They come from some unknown place, just appear without a warning. They're a strange lot. Not human, quite. They look the part, sure enough, but they lack the will, the spark what drives us. They have no capacity to feel nor act alone, so they live as sellswords. Myrmidons, they're called. There's an encampment west of the village where men gather to face the dragon. I'd wager a fair number of his kind will be there as well. Why don't you take him? Might be you learn aught of why he came to you in the first place.
Yeah, right. Hey, thanks, Sanguine. How you been? Follow the pawn's lead.
Purchasing equipment here in Cassis will make for a safer trip to the encampment.
Is he already on my side?
To the encampment. This path should see us there.
This audio seems better. That particular scene.
Peddler is outmatched. Shall we lend a hand?
Yeah, now it has like full-on tutorial stuff that wasn't in the opening combat demo.
Fight or flee.
Is there no lock-on in this? Hates fire. Am I getting levels or better equipment? Can I like, do I get like skill points to spend when I level up? I don't think so.
This road will have us to the encampment ere much
Yeah,
longer.
try to suck less.
Should the enemy prove too powerful, there is no shame in fleeing.
A goblin!
Alright, this is already way less chaotic than that opening sequence. I have one ally. There's a little bit of dialogue. Does the game sound okay to stream right now? Can you kind of hear it?
This road will have us to the encampment ere much longer. Are you all right, Master?
Okay, thanks.
Chests all hold articles and treasures of great value. We've arrived, Master. To my knowledge, can you hear our stone? If memory serves. I know the way, Master. Follow me.
Am I supposed to hear triple question mark and Rook talking at the same time? I think so. Okay, it's fine. That sounds nice. Oh dear. Okay.
Well met, Arisen. Can you hear our voice? We speak to you from across great distance. The Pawn Legion has awaited.
Is it a problem that it said I loaded into offline mode? Because I was online before I started trying to fix the audio.
This rift serves as a gate. It connects our kind to your world. It opens to the Arisen, for they possess a will powerful enough to guide the Legion. If you would claim to be among the Arisen, prove the strength of your resolve.
Okay.
Very well. Then we shall guide you in your trial. If you are an Arisen in truth, this humble task will prove no obstacle. The Arisen must possess the valor to stand against all threats, and the power to quell them. A tireless spirit of self-improvement grants the strength to lead the Legion. Pray, show it now.
Search the area.
A riftstone. A strange power emanates from within.
Alas, you have yet to... If you would prove yourself the arisen...
Search the area.
Tis a humbler structure than I'd imagined.
He's not a pawn, he's a rook. You know, is there any way for me to turn off the tutorial stuff in the bottom right corner of the screen, or only make it come up if I have someone to talk to?
Beds there.
It's not a deal breaker, I'm just curious if I have any control over the UI. I didn't see anything in the options for it. Why they didn't just send me to this?
There may be prowling monsters about.
I really like the monster design. Okay. There's one that heals so much. Okay, that's kind of neat. You look just straight up fucking dead already? Okay. Because I have to manually pick up loot. Can I like pick him up maybe?
Chance! Attack its leg! Now, cut away its support!
Is there any reason for me to climb them? It seems like poking them in the foot is just fine. Maybe it's certain enemies like the Chimera, like be able to cut off its goat head or whatever. Okay. I was confused because he was telling me to go for his leg.
There may be prowling monsters about.
Okay, do I have any way to recover health while I'm climbing on something? Sometimes it looks like I'm doing no damage, but I can't tell if I'm actually doing something. There it looks like I wasn't doing anything at all. So you don't consume stamina just from attacking, only from climbing and sprinting? Now I can see damage happening. At least there's a health bar.
Was a close sprint that. Let us return to the encampment. I'll heal your wounds.
So I miss out on all of the goblin XP since I didn't focus on them that way. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Very Monster Hunter. I think it's more likely that I'll get into this game than Monster Hunter because it seems to give me a little bit more information than Monster Hunter wants to give me.
And we'll be on the path to Grand Soren.
Reach an impasse in one quest. Why not try progressing in another?
Shall we search the area?
This guy?
Have all you need? We are an inn first and foremost, but we offer more than a simple lodging. We can safeguard your belongings, or aid in learning new skills. Have your pick, any you like. What will it be today?
Earn skills. So, discipline is something I earn from gaining XP, or where does that come from? Or skills.
What will it be today? Have your pick.
Like
any
JP,
you like.
okay.
What will it be today? What will it be today? Have your pick, and you come again soon.
Okay.
With that, you are the arisen in truth, proven beyond any doubt. Now, I bid you select a companion for the journey ahead. They shall serve you, and you alone, to share in your hardships, and aid you in every endeavor.
Your main pawn. Just gonna make him look exactly the same. This is a special medic, or special pawn, I guess? Oh god. They're giving me a Myers-Briggs questionnaire. Can I change this later? I don't know what what any of those things mean. Mages can heal, right? I don't remember where I heard that. So this is going to replace Rook? Okay, no, Rook is... okay.
Our fealty is sworn to you, Arisen. From this day, the Legion's men called pawns live and die by your command.
Arisen is someone whose heart was eaten by a dragon? I'm very concerned. They're describing a, like, kind of ambitious scope for the pawns that I don't believe that they're going to be able to deliver on. Like, your pawns know about quests, and they have all this complicated personality that affects their combat AI. I don't believe you. We'll see. I hope that's true. That would be cool if it was. Oh, this is like meeting other people's... So do I have to get random pawns? This is strange. So if I was connected to the internet, I would be seeing other people's characters here, I guess. So I already have 2, right? Top ranked. Is a meta just evolved, or there's just like 2 ideal ones, I guess?
Have we sufficient curatives? Too many possessions can be more a hindrance than a help.
Ah, a master and his pawn, is it? You'll be quite the force come the day you learn.
Can I customize,
Mind you, that is a skill better
Rook?
honed in practice than in the heat of mortal combat. I can help in that regard, should you wish it.
Evil Jawa. Might be to my peril, but I'm going to try to turn on desync. There's a weird, like, line that comes up during cutscenes. Okay, the game didn't crash. That's good.
The men of the Enlistment Corps. Let me be clear from the outset. I'm a harsh master, whoever the pupil. You'll complete 3 forms of training in sequence. Each serves to hone a different quality. You'll need more than raw muscle here. If you find a task too difficult to manage, you might reconsider your party. There are other pawns here. You can choose among them if you care to. The first task is carrying freight. All the lot of them.
What's stopping you from just, like, hiring someone else's insanely OP busted pawn from the internet?
Company, but this is a task too great for just one.
I might want to try to intentionally be offline to avoid anything like that.
Any load, as they say. Now, get to it. We'll begin as soon as you're prepared. Just give the word. Your task is to haul all of the freight before my count ends.
Ooh. Ooh. Shenmue 2 time. Let's go. Clearly my pawns can't do anything about this, right? Oh wait, are they just gonna help? He sounds like Andre the Giant. Oh, they already got one of these off screen. Okay. Just gonna do the quest for me? They are.
Well done. Meet each challenge with that vigor, and you'll make for a fine warrior afore long. Next is combat training. You'll face my Scarecrow army here. Destroy them before my count ends. A large group will be of help again, but you must choose your companions wisely. A company all doing the same thing is less effective than using a varied approach. Choose well.
Is Rook a ranger by default?
Just you'll set about destroying Scarecrow.
Said I needed a mixed party for the one where we just picked up some boxes. Do we need to hurry? What are they? Oh, there's more of them over here.
Enough!
You gotta have a balanced party for this.
Each challenge with that vigor, and you'll make for a fine warrior afore long. Right then. Finally, you'll be destroying more Scarecrows. But don't expect a repeat of the last.
There are two sorts of Scarecrow, each with its own weakness. One falls only to steel and brute force, the other only to magic.
If you're not mindful of how you attack them, you'll fail. Strike fast and strike hard. Vary your party and your tactic.
But I don't actually have control over any of that, right? It's just a question of whether one of my pawns is a mage or not, basically. There's a riftstone.
I'll fell it with a spell.
But I can't both be a mage and a fighter at the same time in the middle of an assignment, right? I assume?
Slay them all! I'll fell it with a spell.
Enough! That's the fastest I've ever seen it done. And on a task fit to challenge even a seasoned warrior. Well done! You've completed your training. See now the difference well-selected partners can make. Yes, no doubt, no doubt. You'll learn the rest from actual combat. If you have trouble, examine your party.
I have a feeling all three of these training missions you could load in and just like get up and go get a drink and just you would win because your party will just win because there's no like time limit, right?
I've gained questions.
We have triumphed.
I guess maybe it's just a situation where the dialogue doesn't really match the encounter. Oh, it is timed?
Training grounds are used to instruct the men of the Corps in combat.
Guessing I can just open this door now, maybe? Okay.
The training grounds are used to instruct the men of the
I like the loading text that's just the golden rule.
in this area.
Back to Cassidy, Arisen. 'Tis a fair notion.
So if I wanted to get rid of Rook, I can do that from here.
Touch a rift stone.
I'll try to get a ranger. So I could boot Rook, but I feel like I should have at least one ranger. When I send people away, does it just like roll new people to come in? Oh, there's an RC cost, okay.
Yes, Arisen. Yes, Arisen.
0 RC.
I am honored to travel with you. Yes, Arisen. Yes, Arisen.
This is very odd.
You cannot take on any more followers without releasing one of your current companions. Very well.
Alright, this is fine, I guess. We'll see how this plays out, but my first hour impression, if we ignore the weird opening demo thing, is that this game is like a concept first. Like the pawn idea seems to have been the driving force behind the development of the game, and maybe the like enemy mounting, you know, Monster Hunter type stuff. But so far it feels kind of weirdly disjointed. Not as rushed as the opening demo, obviously.
I lead the men of the Enlistment Corps. I've heard talk of the Arisen. They say you hold dominion over the pawns. I've ordered pawns to take up swords and fight myself. But they are a clumsy lot. I cannot call them into this world as you do, though, nor make traveling companions of them. What manner of magic lets you command them so? Well,
I don't have a heart.
the dragon is coming. I'll welcome any help, be it pawn, Arisen, farmer, or fishwife. Make use of the encampment as you please. Are you in need of rest?
I'm fine.
Come again whenever you tire.
Oh, do I need to rest for story reasons?
The call. Until then, as you will.
Maybe if I play it a little bit more, I'll kind of understand the way it's structured, but right now it's... Okay, it was a story rest. No such thing as a free stay at the end. I had this issue when I was first playing Monster Hunter. I was really like puzzled at the whole... There's a hub world, and then you have to go to the mission board, and then once you go to the mission board, you go to like a map that's reused like several dozen times for different monsters, and the monsters spawn dynamic. I wasn't expecting it to be structured that way, and it took me several hours to understand that. All the enemies in this game look really cool. The climbing system is pretty much just in the service of getting you to specific body parts, right? Like, just tries to connect you anywhere on their body. Preferably you want to try to jump first before starting to climb, I guess. Hopefully the game's saved before this. Can I do anything to like climb better for it to use less stamina, or Right now, it's not clear to me whether it's worth all the time that it takes to climb something or if I should just sit down and mash X on them, you know? Okay, so I think I did that? I'm not sure. Maybe one of my allies did that.
I am impressed.
So small can climb faster but gets shaken off more easily or something.
What did the lack of an idol doing here anyway?
Ancient tales of the Arisen are well and good, friend. But make a gift of these heads to the Duke, and you might earn yourself a real...
So is the only way to resolve that combat to climb up and stab it in the head 4 times, or would that have happened if I had just done a certain amount of damage to it?
Now from whence the legends arose. Good judgment, swift footwork. Impressive, truly. In any case, the Duke will want to know of this attack. I'd hoped to gather a larger force before leaving for the capital. But
There's a pinned moderator post on the Elden Ring subreddit that's like, come join us in the sequel to Elden Ring, Dragon's Dogma 2.
I cannot say what the press may hold. You will need your strength. It will be slow going with your cart. I dare say you will have no trouble catching up. We'll meet at the Way Castle. Till then, I bid you rest well. 'Tis a long road ahead.
I feel more familiar with this quest now.
Anytime.
I was preferring to have a team that would just all look like M. Bison, named after other Capcom characters. Location rank increased.
We can safeguard. Have your pick. Any you like. What will it be today?
Husk Toss. Fire Onslaught. Grapple hold opponents is different from climbing opponents, right? So I'd rather pick up something that's passive like that.
What will it be today? Have your pick. Come again soon.
Within this tent sits a rift.
I have to enable skills for my main pawn, but not for the other pawns? I have to do that from that menu, I guess.
We can see. Have your pick. Any? What will it be today?
So I already have Blink Strike. Shield summons. Oh, like taunt, basically? Ingle. Anodyne.
What will it be today? Have your pick. Come again soon.
I have to hold R1 to use them? Okay.
What was it?
They consume stamina.
Thank the Maker. Hold a moment. Is Kina not with you? She was said to lead the village in search of art for your wounds. I thought you accompanied her.
I like the word ought in
These are
this.
dark times for a girl alone in the wilds. Any idea where she might be off to?
You'll need Kina's help for this. Let's ask her.
I'm gonna try really hard not to think about all these item pickups.
Crates may hold alt of use. Perhaps we'll find ore among the cracks in this place.
I've learned of this area.
Perhaps we'll find ore among the crags that lit this place. Endeavor to be ever calm in battle. Bide your time, then strike. Don't worry, I am here.
Are you all right, Master?
Some small foe lurks ahead of us. Roads are safer than the brush. Still, we best.
Careful! A goblin!
Annihilated. What causes me to accrue RC? So the other pawns, the other two pawns other than my main pawn, just advance on their own? Yeah, that classic bone crunch sound effect. So, is there a main story in this game? Sort of? Like a series of quests I can just focus on?
Left some clue at her home. 'Tis your hometown, is it not?
Gives me chills just to think of it.
Well, the other two have to be replaced.
I'll make no excuse. Let me tell you this. I was too craven to venture far. And lucky thing, a queer growl echoed back with the sound of water from further in. There's aught down there. Mark my words. I could feel it, I could. You not see me going back down there to find out what... What? You mean to go down there? You're a right hero. Here, if you're set on going, take this with you. It should have some use to it left. I'll not soon forget your bravery, cousin. Pray, just come back alive.
Do I have to worry about oil usage at all? I don't see any indicator to tell me how much I have, don't have.
There's the stink of death. I'll ill miss this dank place when we move on. What's this?
If I look confused while I'm playing this, I'm trying to understand it. I don't think there's another game that I can quickly map this onto and say, oh, okay, it's like this. I think maybe it's its own thing? We'll see if my thought holds that it's a concept first of customizable pawns that you trade with other players and who learn things about levels and stuff. So what is the mechanism of I feel familiar with this area? Does that make them like... If you sent them to somebody else, they would automatically have the map or something? Compared to Skyrim, due to coming out close to Skyrim. Yeah, it feels nothing like Skyrim so far. See.
We'll have to jump our way across.
Sure. They're only able to do that if they've been to that area before, I guess.
Leave it to me.
Take care not to meet the same end.
cool looking enemies again.
Keep the lantern dry. It's a troubling foe.
No kidding, it's a troubling foe. So I can't grab him because he's not big enough. I had damage numbers in this. I guess the health bar is an improvement over Monster Hunter. So you can cut their tails off? Set them on fire. Now can I be picked up or is it game over when I die? It's game over when I die. Oh. Okay. Well, it seems like that was too hard for my current gear. I think that's a math problem. This game generally assumes that I'm grinding, right? Try to follow what I assume is the main quest icon there.
Keen enough some clue at her home.
There's little use standing around.
Not even the saltiest fish
have a look at your
shore.
Okay, that's good to hear. It just kept popping up saying, if you're having trouble with something, level up.
Ever call me battle. Bide your time, then strike. Hold on.
Careful! A goblin!
The safest on the roads. Perhaps we'll find ore among the crags that litter this place.
He wants me to find the ore in the crags that litter this place.
We'll need Keena's help for this. Let's ask at the village. This encampment serves as a fine bulwark against monsters.
The road splits here. Let's be doubly sure which we'll see is to our destination.
Armed bandits arisen.
Only I may do that.
Counter outfit strike.
They attack in succession.
And then they give me that feedback pretty often. Oh, I'm dead.
Perhaps Keena left some clue at her home.
There's little use standing
We
around.
share these roads with traveling peddlers, guardsmen, and other folk. The roads are safer than the brush. Still, we best stay wary. Endeavor to be ever calm in battle.
I just pause and use those at will.
Bide your time, then strike.
Is that the main way I should be healing, is by pausing and eating 20 cheese wheels or whatever?
This encampment serves as a fine bulwark against monsters. Nature is unbridled here.
The road splits
Quite
here.
a pleasant
Let's be doubly sure of which will see us to our destination.
Armed bandits arisen.
They attack!
Their whole, yeah, the white bar is an interesting mechanic. Otherwise, you'd just be constantly topped off on health at all times. Oh, okay. Is eating a consumable temporarily, like, make me immune to occurring white damage, or can I use a consumable and then immediately get hit again and get white damage from it?
Armed bandits arisen. Leave it to me.
I shall restore your health.
It. So enemies are generally, they won't be lootable unless if you can obviously see the loot they dropped on the ground, basically.
Many a life was ended by falling from too great a height.
Flask of oil, okay. Wait.
Slay them one by one.
Take fire!
Is there a body type and weight that's just like objectively better, or are they supposed to have like trade-offs?
Take fire!
Go.
Fire works well! No, they hold the advantage.
Do my allies not have the same healing problems? They don't, obviously they don't use consumables, right? So they can just get full on health from magic. I'm wondering if the best way to play this game is to just like sit back and let the pawns kill everything and like occasionally go and pick them up if they take damage. Since the game doesn't end if they die. They also seem to do comparable damage to me. It's not like they're significantly weaker than I am. Bye.
Leave it to me.
They can't upgrade gear, I guess.
shall restore your health. Hold on.
You'll ne'er hit them swinging blindly.
Even for a lock-on button. Your character roughly tries to lock on to nearby enemies. Is there a reason to sheath your weapon? Looks like if you press a button, you can unsheath it instantly as part of a normal attack. It doesn't like slow it down or anything. Sorry, I'm Bison. When I pick up my pawns, does that cost me anything? It's like using like a resource or something. The only pawn I can share online is my personal pawn or whatever, main pawn.
I shall restore your health.
I like that healing is positional. That's kind of cool.
Watch your back.
Fire is bane to wolves.
Hardly a warm-up.
Okay.
Watch your footing, Master.
There, Master! Wolves!
So max health gets lower, you have to do it more often.
Strength in numbers.
Did it!
The sea is closer than I'd imagined.
Follow this road north and we'll
Oh, that's cute.
I trust you rested well, given the hour.
Just had a power flicker. It doesn't look like it. My UPS took care of it that time.
We make for the capital, men. Like as not, the cart will draw beasts along the way. Stay.
Alright, we're back from a power flicker. Let's see how much further we can go.
But fear not. We walk with the Arisen, slayer of hydras.
I mean, I didn't slay the Hydra. I annoyed it. Annoyer of Hydras.
I've gained quest knowledge. Let us go! Find a grand structure. A wind castle, perhaps. Protect the cart!
Check the card. Goblins come.
Monsters arisen. Ready yourself.
Good job, M. Bison. So basically, anytime I have a chance to replace my pawns, I should, because pawn 3 and 4 never level up or advance in any way.
Wolves are loath to let go once they bite. Shake them as soon as you can.
Stay at the cart's side. Grand Sorin stands beyond.
Watch both ground and sky for threats.
This pass is a nest for every manner of foul beasts.
Cam Clark.
No man can say from where they will strike.
It lies low. Our steel will serve well.
Learn a new way to fight.
They come from above. Ready yourselves.
You fire's blade!
Solid ground. The advantage is ours.
Focus on burning the wing.
Need to get that thing that lets me attack aerial enemies. Is that... Can anyone name a Western game that has that ridiculous overlapping barks problem? Like, I know it happens sometimes in Skyrim, but it's clearly not on purpose, right? Like, it's when you happen to be walking through a town and there's just restricted replies from ambient NPCs. But here, it's like, there's no way you could test a game like this or Tales of Berseria or Xenoblade Chronicles without it being clear that everybody's shouting over each other constantly, right? So it has to be something where they're like, this is fine. Maybe Dragon Age Inquisition. Hey, red-tailed hawk sound. Fiend with a woman's form. Oh, harpies, okay. Witcher 3 has one generic NPC spitting noise. What? The hell is that?
Is a troubling foe. I grant you fire's blaze. I shall restore your health. Hold on.
This game might occupy a special place, and then I find it to be personally baffling. I can see someone playing this and completely enjoying it and rolling with it and not finding anything weird. But it's like, what? No, there's pawns and there's missions and you kill the monsters and your allies learn their abilities and just being completely fine with it. But something about the way it's structured just feels very strange to me. I'll have to think on it more to try to articulate what I'm feeling about it, but it's not like it's bad or anything. Like the combat feels fine. A little button mashy, but you know, kind of comes with the territory. I'm trying to envision like really? I feel like I've mostly heard positive things about this game, but it's all just cultural osmosis, so...
Fallen rock bars the path.
Stay at the cart's side.
I don't know if I've ever played a game that makes me feel like this, though, so it'll be interesting to keep playing through it and try to understand it. The closest I can come to is that it feels like they had this cool pawn idea, and they made this design document that had this list of all these things they wanted the pawns to do, and that the entire game was built around trying to justify that concept. And there are parts where it feels like the mission at the beginning where it's like, oh, you got to do this training mission, and it's really important that you calibrate your team correctly. But then, no, like, you just have to pick up 6 boxes. Like, your team size doesn't matter for that. Or the one with, the 8 or so scarecrows. Yeah. Maybe it'll help me to understand. I don't think it's a... I don't think the game is, like, objectively bad or anything. It's just, it's structured very differently than I'm accustomed to, and I'm struggling to, like, wrap my head around it. It's different from Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter was a game that I was just baffled by its structure at first, and then once I understood its structure, I was like, I don't like this. You know what I mean? But here I'm still kind of in the I don't know what this is phase of the game. Which is too bad, because like the monsters look really cool. I like that they all have different they have different AI routines and different weaknesses, and that the pawns remember their weaknesses. Comparing it to FF12 seems appropriate. I guess the Gambits thing aren't as... I thought the Gambits thing was going to be like the whole deal. FF12 also feels kind of weirdly structured. I went from having a vaguely positive impression of that game from playing it on launch to playing it on stream and actually actively disliking it a lot. It made me feel kind of bad. I think we arrived at a lot of that is that 12 makes more sense if you're 100%ing it, and if you're playing it to just play the main story, it feels kind of weird and strangely paced.
We cannot turn back.
My read on the pawn inclination system is that it has a bunch of apparent complexity that likely degenerates into, are they going to heal you before they punch the guy most of the time, right? Like, it's like I was saying earlier, when it's like your pawns will, you know, react to their relationship to you and their affinity to enemies. I'm like, I don't believe you. Like, it's an honorable thing to want to try to do, but I just don't think the technology is there or will be there in our lifetimes.
What sort of place is Grand Soren? I am eager to see.
It's also one of those things where I wonder that even if you could make that work, it's kind of like when, what game was it where they were talking about we're going to make a horse that behaves like a real horse, so sometimes it doesn't obey you, right? And that was like supposed to be a selling point for the game, and it was like, well, even if that's realistic, like, do we want that? I don't know that people want that. Maybe they said that about Breath of the Wild early on and then kind of pulled back on it a little bit. I would be very interested to play this for the full 38 hours, even if it's not a game that speaks to me, because I think it's really interesting for me to try to build my intuition for why games like this feel odd to me. I don't feel aggressively turned off by it like I do with Monster Hunter, and I hate that about Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter seems like a game that I should like and should want to play a lot. Like, there's some alternate universe version of me where my childhood was 1% different, and as a result, I've sunk 4,000 hours into Monster Hunter games. I just don't exist in that reality for some reason, and I haven't figured out why yet. I think a good way to think about it is that all video games for me are constantly projecting their hooks into me that give me this strong desire to want to keep playing, see what's around the next corner, defeat the next boss or whatever, right? And some games can get their hooks in me in different ways. It could just be entirely story, even if the game has garbage mechanics. It could just be like pure what's baffling around the next corner feelings, like in Sonic 06 or Resident Evil 6. Oftentimes it's, you know, naked Skinner box shit like experience points and level up breakpoints and the like. Which I'm fine to admit that those can successfully get their hooks in me. Like, I am somewhat interested in leveling up and getting discipline points and buying new abilities for both me and my pawn. Monster Hunter design is specifically intentional with my approach to streaming. It's very possible. I think that a lot of my disagreements with games are directly related to me streaming them. I think that's why RTS games are more stressful than they might be otherwise if I was playing them on a couch, you know? And why I'm not super into tactics RPGs, even though I liked them a lot when I was a a kid. I would say I've liked virtually all the games we played on stream, like greater than 90%. I wouldn't say that they were all equally amazing, but I was able to find something to hook me in them. I like the phrase bounce off a game because it kind of implies a lack of hooking, right? Like, see, that's a big part of it, yeah. I am not a make my own fun kind of guy. Tell me a game is an open world sandbox, I'm like, oh god. Like, that doesn't sound great for me. But I could see why it would be good. I had a really good talk with a friend recently about how, like, it's kind of denigrating to games that are toys, that I would call toys, to call them toys and then say that they're, like, beneath me or something. Which isn't what I mean to say, it's just that it's not my kind of thing. I'm not super into them. If you give me something that could be a toy and then put some structure over it and make it a game, like Minecraft or Subnautica base building, or Factorio, you know, launch the rocket, that I enjoyed very much. Yeah, Terraria is the ultimate imposed structure on this toy box game, and that's why I love it to death. That game rules. But I think I get particularly confused in games like this where it seems like part of it is like just enjoy the pawn system and like what you're doing doesn't particularly matter, you know. I don't mind that the story doesn't seem to be taking a big role front and center here because I've played plenty of games that are basically story-free arcade games and that's completely fine. I can't heal that pack animal, can I?
Seems all roads lead to Grand Soaring.
Yeah. Monster Hunter seems like the kind of game that it has the strong eat your vegetables to get your dessert energy. Like, we've intentionally designed the game so that it becomes fun at some point. We've balanced everything around your max gear and sharpness and all that stuff. Then we kind of like derived the beginning of the game by removing stuff from what the game's supposed to feel like, you know. Do they not heal themselves? It's fine.
A good start to any task is talking with others. Let's begin with that.
They won't cast healing spells on themselves. Yeah, I was never really able to land on a weapon that I liked in Monster Hunter. I ended up doing the cat boomerang attack because it felt a little bit like I was doing damage with it, sort of, but even that was... I don't know, I think it's why Dark Souls is the ultimate hooks in me game. It's like every single thing about it is hooking me. All the time, constantly. Reinforcing itself. Oh, his max health has been reduced? Oh, no, okay. There's games like this where it feels like, you know, this game is one side of the Velcro and my brain is the same side of the Velcro, so they can't, like, touch. They don't hook into each other.
We've arrived. Well done, men. A Hydra's head is a fine prize. His Grace will be pleased with the Corps' work. Walk proud through these streets, men. We are heroes to the people of Grand Soren. Rest up, men.
That opening was genuinely baffling, though. Where, like, I would expect a lot of people to agree with me. The opening demo scene.
Directly to offer my report to His Grace.
It makes sense now that I've played for an hour and a half or so.
Pray, sojourn in the capital a while. To the castle mains.
Really, the top post is complaining about that quest. Long periods of wandering. Nothing to fight.
Fortune smiles upon me. Well met, Sir Arisen. I am called Mason, if it please you. Now you're come to the capital a conquering hero, you'll be needing aught to do, eh?
Need to add an aught counter for this. I think it's already at like 6 or 7.
Inquire about them here in Grand Soren. Their kinds woven tight into the fate of the Arisen. If you know your destiny, know them.
I feel more familiar with this quest now.
Half of the 80% run is waiting for that cow.
You're an Arisen, then you
Hear the tingling tale.
These days, a good weapon, the master works all.
Okay, so it seems gear is really important in this. Oh yeah, that's way better than what I currently have. Also makes me completely broke.
The master works all.
Should I just sell everything, or should I save it for crafting? Seems like too much.
The master come again.
Hear ye! The Duke's brave enlistment corps has dispatched the foul hydra what terrorise the Southlands. Hear the tingling tale of the brave Sir Mercedes, she who struck the mortal blow against the vicious creature. Marvel at the wisdom of his grace. Duke Edmund Dragonsbane, without whose counsel the Hydra would never. Hear ye! The Duke.
We'll like to have dealings
I need to get more
with
money.
some time to come.
I need armor. I guess I'm just gonna sell stuff and not think about it.
The master works all.
What's with the stars? Is that like... ways I can enhance the equipped gear or something? Oh, this is what I need the iron for. Oh boy. But I'm also expected to upgrade this stuff frequently, right? So I don't know when I should be spending money on replacing gear versus upgrading my existing gear. Yikes.
The master work coming.
Just keep doing stuff for now, I guess. The little dragon's Dogma symbol is the main quest stuff.
Grand Soren.
That's kind of a neat idea. If I can understand it as that, it's that literally it's the combat and pawn system, and that you're meant to grind a whole bunch and try to make a cool build. So anytime you learn a skill, you have that skill permanently, even if you switch jobs.
One never knows what such forgotten corners may hold.
They actually want me to go here. Okay. You really want me to go all the way back to the previous town?
Is that some sort of structure?
Hold on.
So not the activated skills, okay.
Tis a land rife with spots where useful materials are hard.
Monsters arisen, ready as
Hold on.
I grant you fire's blade! My fire!
Close to the head, Blackwell!
We have triumphed.
That makes sense. That seems cool.
Keep an eye turned to the shadows.
I was already planning to get passives only, really. Like, I'm not convinced that anything other than the basic X button attack is worth using. Maybe one of the things that lets you like reach flying enemies. It's very much not Soulsy combat. It's a little bit more deliberate feeling than something super button mashy like Devil May Cry, but oh, that's cool. I thought those were the only skills in the game, or classes in the game.
They attack in quick succession.
Bigger Fable, third of the way to a Souls game, yeah.
That looks promising. This looks interesting.
Visibility is poor. Stay on guard. Hold on.
Leave it to me.
Is there any teleporting in this game? Get it in, Bison.
That was hardly a warm-up.
It's basically a like Final Fantasy V job system. That's pretty cool. I don't hate that.
Wait, Castle, perhaps?
Are you all right, Master?
Don't worry. I am here.
Like, I can let that be the thing that hooks me into it.
Yes, Arisen.
This stuff does feel odd, though, like getting these characters and then just constantly swapping them out with randomly generated assholes.
You cannot cannot take on any more followers without releasing one of your current companions. I am honored to travel with you.
May our paths cross.
Yes, Arisen. You cannot take on any more followers without releasing one of your current companions. I am honored to travel with you.
I guess maybe that's more interesting if the people you're swapping in are constantly from other real-world players. It could be fun. Right, I'm just curious how much of it is, like, sprinting between towns.
Follow this road north and we'll hit Grand Soren.
The sea is closer than I'd imagined.
The road splits here. Let's be doubly sure of which will see us to our destination.
I pray the day monsters no longer hog the road is not far off.
It is difficult to walk such a narrow path.
I see.
Go the blood. What's it to be?
Oh, so like I have to like manually remove all the shit they were carrying. Am I able to change my primary pawn's class and keep his passives and stuff too? The way this game handles stamina feels like a half measure to me, where it doesn't get included in your basic attacks, but it's included in all the actions that I'd rather not use because they consume stamina, right? Yeah, I think part of the reason it works in Souls is because like literally everything uses stamina, so you kind of feel the rhythm of combat, when to back off, that kind of a thing. Is that a Monster Hunter thing too? I feel like if they called this game Monster Hunter Medieval Quest or something and made it a spin-off, it would make a lot more sense to me.
I've had quite enough of battle.
Should have in storage an Eternal Fairy Sun item that I can use for fast travel. Okay. This is a thing that you have if you have the Dark Arisen DLC. Stuffs it in there when you finish the cow quest and then doesn't tell you. Amazing.
Hold on. I'll take that.
Yeah, for sure. Monster Hunter Medieval Castle Quest or something, right? Like,
this looks interesting.
What's this? There's naught we can do from here.
It'll be easier going.
I've learned of this area.
doesn't open from the side.
This looks interesting.
Use a lot of money in here, that's cool.
our means.
Yeah, the lantern is odd. It feels like they could have just as easily just made it so that you have a lantern. I mean, I kind of like the idea of getting in water, putting it out, and it being hard to see, and having to like deal with that, but seems very strange that it uses oil. This game seems to generally arcadey for that. I guess that's also part of what feels off about Monster Hunter to me, and maybe this is less true in like Monster Hunter World, but it always feels like they're trying to do something that's extremely arcadey and then constantly also trying to infuse it with all of this like flavor shit, and that those two things are in constant tension with each other. That anything they add to make it more flavorful makes the arcadey combat feel worse, and anything they add to make it more arcadey makes the flavor feel worse. Monster Hunter Rise is arcadey as hell. Right on. Do I even know what they want me to do in here? Why is that marked as the main quests, maybe? Is it because it's supposed to be the other side of the well, and that's where I'll go to exit the well because I abandoned it because I was getting my ass kicked? Alright, we're gonna go back into the main town, I guess. Hold on. It's gonna require me to go back this way and then up and around, I guess.
We've only just begun, Master.
I am here.
Rise is the more recent one.
Care to find out where this path leads? This encampment serves as a fine bulwark against...
No, I'm down with either. It just feels like what they're going for, they're trying to make two different products, which if they leaned all the way into one or the other, I would enjoy. But it feels like all of their attempts to make it be one thing make the other thing worse, if that makes sense.
Set out from here and we'll be on the path to Grand Soren.
If you find combat a struggle, it may be helpful to adjust your party.
There's some skills.
We can safeguard your belongings. Have your pick. Any you like. What will it be today?
So, is it augments are the ones that are passives that carry over? Oh my god, I got everything here. I think that's part of the problem with Monster Hunter, is it feels like it's like Madden, you know? Just patch the make it a platform now. I'll get more things as I rank up in the job. I'm just gonna save discipline there. I don't really care for any of this other stuff. When knocked over, press A the moment you land, press the left bumper when attacked by an enemy. Hold Y, oh no. Try this one. And this one. Oh, I can't afford it now. Core skills don't have to be equipped, is that true? Just have them?
What will it be today?
Magic when you're almost dead. Increase the duration of curative magic effects. The attitude. Levitate. Like we need all of these. Can I get more slots for these in the future?
What will it be today? Have your pick. Any you like. What will it be today? Understood.
Within this tent sits a rift stone.
I don't know if I count as being online right now.
A strange power emanates from within.
No, is that from him?
We can see. Have your pick. What will it be today?
Eternal Fairy Stone.
What will it be today?
Thank you for telling me about that.
What will it be today? Have your pick. Come again.
In this tent sits a riftstone. Touch a riftstone.
It'll be easier going searching this area now.
Will it be today?
We'll need Tina's help.
Seriously, game, where do you want me to go for this quest? Okay, I think it's in there, and then that will be the exit at the end. So, how does the pawn AI work with, like, boon spells? Will they just try to cast every possible boon on me until they know one works and then stick to that one for the enemy I'm fighting?
The roads are safer than the brush, but still, we'd best stay wary.
So I probably could have fairy stoned here, huh?
Not even the saltiest fishermen venture far from shore, I hear. Perhaps. Best prepare well before we begin.
Let's try this again.
We'll certainly make use of that lantern here. Which way should we go, Elizabeth? The leftward path bears the sting of death.
Easier going searching this area.
This looks interesting. I hear cries from within. Seems it's been dead for some time. Best take care not to meet the same end.
No choice.
The main reason to chop off their tails is it's like loot. Okay, so yeah, previously we came here and it was really hard. Now we're here a few levels higher and it's like easy. But there's no on-screen indicator of the level of enemies, right? You just kind of have to figure out if you're not supposed to be somewhere or not. They're weaker when they have no tails. I feel like the way to do this game would be to get rid of... don't have XP affect how much damage you deal and receive. Like, make it all about abilities, right? And just like the mechanics of the abilities. Instead of it just being based on math. And that's basically how Dark Souls works, right? It's like you get a new weapon, and the main difference of that weapon is that it has a different animation, maybe has a different weapon skill, but in general, most things are roughly comparable.
They're armed, Master. Counter after they strike. Quick succession.
I'm trying to counter that, but I don't know what the timing is yet. Yeah, dumb math shows up once you start dealing with Titanite shards and stuff, which I dislike. I think that's the worst part about every Souls game. I feel like if they did the Bloodborne, well, Bloodborne half does it. If they did the thing where you could socket those into weapons and then unsocket them.
What's this? It's not
Right.
from battles. It is survival. I'll take that.
One day maybe they'll come up with a solution to that. Count as being done with the quest now? I wish they gave you more room to do that, Leon. That's super annoying. Let me see if I can use this thing already. Yeah, that's nice.
This encampment serves as a fine bulwark against monsters.
Perhaps Kina left some clue at her home.
Ben, do you have zoomies? Do you need your cat's meow toy?
You've slain the monsters of the well, have you? Truly, you are a wonder, cousin. I think upon it, 'twas my hiding in the well what brought the danger to light. I take no credit, mind. I simply feared I'd be blamed for releasing monsters upon the village for having opened up the well. 'Tis a relief in all you're doing, cuz. Here, I owe you at least this much for all you've done. I shall strive to learn from your example. Commit myself to becoming a soldier fit to defend the land and its people. Honest.
Masterfully done.
It is so difficult for me to come to terms with the fact that this game is 10 years old. Like, in 2002, if you told me a game was made in 1992, that would mean a lot to me. I don't mind the voice acting. I wish they weren't talking over each other so much, but...
What meaning do you suppose those stones hold?
What's this?
Disappears after a single use, but not really. I guess they got rid of it because it was bad. Nobody liked it. Learn more about the pawns. Okay. Willing slave class or something?
You can talk to me later.
Hello. Can I help you?
Oh, this guy's just a pawn that's standing around?
Can I help you? Then I bid you.
Are you... automatically loading your pawns to the internet all the time or something?
There's been a shipment of goods. The road is closed till it's been sorted. Have patience. It won't be long.
These days, the master works all.
Got a bunch of money out of all that. Is there like a penalty for wearing heavy armor in this? Oh, the thing that looks like it's going to defend me the least is the strongest.
Master works all. The master works all.
I feel like the gear system needed to either be enhancement or buying a bunch of new gear all the time, but it feels like it's hard to justify putting money into either. Trying to survive to the next town where I can get something better, right? The Dragon Quest problem. Penalty for taking too much of your weight limit.
Ah, say friend, have you chanced upon a strange old man of late? Shady mien, queer mumblings. They call him the Elysian, a name I hear far too oft these days. Well, keep the man in mind. I've business with him myself.
Remember to save enough for lodging. I've been drenched!
Alright, so it wants me to talk to randos, right?
Is there aught I may assist you in?
My fellow NPCs just picking up random shit all over the place? It's fine.
Hi, what?
Lost, Master?
Yes, I am lost, thank you. Times are tough. Welcome to Corneria.
Hello, can I help you? Can I help you? Then
Stuff they loot is not usable by me?
Hello, can I help you? Then
I feel like the pawns need to look like pawns, like they need to all have blue skin or have like a glowing aura or wear a certain kind of clothes, or it's kind of weird to just imply that like 30% of your society are like soulless mercenary dolls. It's like Blade Runner shit, right? They're like replicants. Except I don't know that the game's actually gonna like contend with that. Because it's kind of a cool setting concept.
First time, the inn's a grand. There's a fine place just inside the city gates. Just look for the sign.
There, the inn.
Visit the inn.
This must be an alehouse.
Really? I thought they said something about that in the opening cutscene with them, but definitely comes from it. They came up with the idea for AI-controlled allies that you swap in and out and don't care about. Like that was the first idea, and they're like, okay, how do we justify that with story?
Speak of. You've a plainer air than I'd expected. Ah, forgive me. I spoke poorly. I simply imagined a sort of figure pulled right from legend. Pray, allow me to begin anew. I am Asala, and this is my inn, though we deal in a number of trades here. I hope this is the first of many visits, sir. Oh, you wish to learn of the Pawn Legion? Then the shortest path to the answers you seek leads west from here. There you'll find Grand Sword.
I wasn't expecting this. I thought the pawn thing was going to be like a total gameplay abstraction to describe the NPC allies that you have. I didn't think it was actually going to be like part of the plot, so that's cool.
Have your pick, any you like.
Change vocation. Warrior. Oh, okay. So, like, oh, and I have to spend points for these. Do I spend points that get sunk every time I swap jobs, or is it like you pay that amount to unlock it and then you can swap it for free after that? It's kind of neat. Hybrid versus advanced.
Have your pick. Come again soon.
Once I've maxed out the rank, it is should I switch jobs? But I can stay on one until one of them is maxed.
Let's make for the pond. It is on the west
Free
side.
swap afterward. Okay, thanks.
Seems the west gate's open.
State your business. All right. Through here and to the left. Just don't make a nuisance of yourself, eh?
Armorer, I believe.
Does it take a super long time to get max rank in any of the early jobs?
So this is the Pawn Guild. You can summon pawns as...
Welcome, Arisen. We have awaited your
Oh.
coming. This pawn is called Barnaby. I tend to the affairs of the Pawn Guild. The guild serves as a place of rest for pawns, and as the gate to the Everfall. The Everfall lies beneath Grand Sorin. It is a place of great importance to our kind. But for now, let us rejoice in the coming of the Arisen, the light that guides the Legion.
I gained fresh knowledge.
It grieves me to burden you, weary from the road as you must be, but I fear trouble brews. I would beg your assistance in this matter, Arisen, if it please you. You have my thanks.
Oh. Uh-oh. It's Dragon Quest VII nightmare shit. The job you're currently on affects stat growth when you level up. The FF6 Esper problem.
Beyond lies the Everfall, an ancient place that sleeps beneath Grand Sorin's stones. We pawns have long served as keepers of the entrance to this place.
There's a box in my mind palace that is labeled with the screaming emoji and stat growth that's tied to decisions you made earlier in the playthrough is definitely stored in there.
If it be some omen of evil to come,
FF3 was probably the worst incarnation of it,
I ask that you seek out the cause
where it
of
was just
change.
correct to be on black belt every time you leveled up if you could.
The Everfall is a place unique unto itself. This is not a simple task, nor a favor I ask lightly. Which is why I ask you, Arisen. Please, lend us your aid.
A queer feeling raised upon my chest, Master. A foreboding.
So this is the Everfall.
I wonder if there's a way, because I feel like the fantasy is like, you know, we want to give you the ability to switch jobs or abilities or whatever, but we also want you to feel some kind of lasting impact from a character having been on a job for some amount of time. So like the fantasy is, yeah, okay, you can switch to white mage at any time, but if one of your characters has been a white mage for 20 hours, And one of your characters has never been a white mage at all. The one that's been a white mage for 20 hours should be better at white magic, which is, I think is an admirable thing to attempt. I don't know that permanent character stat growth is the best solution, though. Right. Saying Holy Sword? I can't tell my pawns what to... I can't tell my pawn to give me the weapon buff that I want. I assume it's holy against these guys. These are zombies. Can they learn elemental resistances based on seeing other characters use them, or do they have to cast the spell themselves?
I've had quite enough of that.
Yeah, maybe if you did something where it was like permanent passive unlocks that apply while you're in that job, right? But you don't have to sock it or opt into. Maybe there's a thing that, separate from JP, you just get little things like, now your heals all do 20% more once you acquire a certain enough job mastery points or whatever. So I really like JP as a system.
Perhaps we could avoid further baggage.
I always come back to the big problem in Final Fantasy Tactics where there's a million interesting abilities and the vast majority of them are insanely situational, such that if they were just on permanently once you learn them, regardless of your future job, it wouldn't be game breaking. And yet they still ask you to make a choice between, you know, catching thrown items if they happen to cross past your character's tile, which will come up maybe once in a playthrough, and like the ability to live counterattack every single time an enemy attacks you. You know what I mean? If we split it into 4 parts, we could do that Dragon Quest thing where you can only use consumables from your own bag. Yeah. This is an extremely interesting game. Do you remember what I was saying about when we were playing Teardown? That, like, Teardown clearly began with the idea of what if we had this crazy voxel environment where you can break everything. That's the root idea, and then they're like, okay, can we make a game out of this? And then they come up with some cool objectives, and they have this whole, like, heist theme. And like alarms attached to items, so you have to like plan out a path to escape with everything. And in that case, the idea and you know, the core mechanic idea around which the game is built and the story concept that it serves work in harmony. This feels like a game where they really just wanted to do the pawn thing and didn't really know where to put it. I wonder if they could have just dumped it into Monster Hunter and just made this a Monster Hunter spin-off. Monster Hunter RPG. I guess I applaud them for trying to do a new IP. Wish I could make my pawn cast that Holy Sword ability on me right now. I don't know if I have the ability to do that. Dude, my pawn has... Okay, there we go. Good. About time. Could have told you that, M. Bison. This is Kami's sub-block, so it ends up on the voting spreadsheet. I'll play it. I'd be interested in playing it for longer. I know my reaction's been kind of tepid so far, but I'm still just interested in finding out, understanding what I do and don't like about this game and why. Not super great. Well, that's cool. I think I just lost a lot of progress. What's the difference between retry and retry from checkpoint? Oh, that's less of a time loss than I thought, maybe. Can I just save in the middle of the dungeon? Or can you just save after every random battle?
Not the last we can see anytime certain. I'll take that.
Do I keep XP gain when I hit retry, or is it a total loss?
Skeleton is skilled indeed.
Yeah, I'd be down to play it further. I don't hate it so far. It's just, aside from wanting to get all of the job passives and switch jobs, there's not a lot hooking me yet. It feels weirdly disjointed in a way that I'm having trouble articulating.
It is still too early to admit defeat.
Save there. Shortcut. Give me a holy sword. That is the exact wrong sword you want. guess they forgot what happened. Maybe M. Bison has it now. I think part of it, this game's asking you to do like a Diablo analysis on kill speed, right? Where since it's only giving you health bars and not damage numbers, you're meant to realize, this thing is taking, 15 hits to die, and the game feels good when enemies take 3 or 4 hits to die. So that means I must upgrade my weapon or come back later or whatever. I thought it was whenever they brute force tried an ability, they then learned that, like, if they happened to randomly cast fire on a skeleton, that they would learn, basically. Oh, shit. Breath of the Wild healing is the worst. I wonder if they could make a hack for Breath of the Wild that gets rid of it, or add some kind of time cost to healing.
I've had quite enough of that.
Numbers arisen.
These like items that get worse the longer they're in my inventory, basically. It would take if they worst case scenario, if I have to go into the menu and pauses to activate an item, and then when I come out of the menu, they have to eat and drink. I would be completely fine with that. I just find the ability to pause and top off on health undercuts basically every other combat mechanic in a game once they establish that that's the way to heal. It definitely, for me, undercuts the otherwise cool positional healing thing where you have to run into the healing bubble on the map, right? And be there on time to actually receive the healing. I like that. Hey, I'm Bison. You know what would be really cool if you stopped giving me a darkness sword against undead. So they get new passives when their vocation rank increases? Is that just based on getting some threshold amount of JP?
I'll take that.
Is the game going to tell me when I'm having an encumbrance issue? Because right now I'm not really paying any attention to it. Save here.
Too swift. Be careful, Arisen.
Well, that's an attack. It's kind of a cool attack, actually. Don't climb that guy. I don't think there's anything you can do about that once you try. I was hoping that they had pulled threat.
Controls all the doors.
I don't know how much I'm losing every time I die here. Like, did I just lose 20 minutes? Did I just lose 5 minutes? Did I lose nothing in terms of progress? What's my job rank? Can I review that somewhere? Oh no, I lost everything. Okay. Cool. I can also just freely save whenever I'm out of combat, so I feel like that encourages me to, like, manually save every single time I beat a group of enemies. Yeah, I just died and lost about 15 minutes of progress, wonderfully. Oh boy. Is it just like strictly making me weaker then?
Perhaps we could avoid further battle.
Strength in numbers.
Just autosave after every enemy group.
Shall restore your health. Hold on.
Here we pawns bear some connection to this place.
Anytime.
We'll never be forced this door, Master.
Can't get to her to pick her up. I don't think I can trust my party members to cast relevant elemental buffs on me. They're really bad at doing it smartly, it seems like. You run at 82% speed and drain stamina 35% faster while running. Yep, we'll put that in the Scream Emoji Mind Palace box. The box of always screaming. Stop giving me that buff. caught up to where we were 10 minutes ago. So get in the habit of manually saving after every fight.
I shall restore your health.
Leave it to me.
Creature weighs 100 kilograms is 2.5 times more base carry weight than one who weighs less than 40. Should I just be a giant fat character? Like, did I make a huge mistake by trying to play a halfling here? Sight of women excites it? I guess stuff like that's kind of interesting. Weird monster behavior stuff. It also does feel very Monster Hunter-y, too. Stamina regen slower. Froze its arm. That's kind of cool. Certainly has a Monster Hunter health bar right now. Fighting this guy feels exactly like every fight I've ever done in Monster Hunter, and maybe that's like only because we're not meant to fight it right now, we're meant to avoid it. But I can't tell if it's honestly just comes down to like getting the right element on it or something, you know? This is just a combat math thing. Oh hey, Bison fell off the side. I now I guess can't help at all? If I grapple him, he falls on his back and one-shots me from full health. We can try it since I saved right before this, but I'll show you what I mean. Bad attack. And free 500 damage. Bye. Oh, does he die if he falls off the edge? Well, that's kind of cool. If I could try that next time. Amazing. Try to force him to fall off the edge. Hey!
I've had quite enough of battle.
Living the dream. So I could have fought it for 20 minutes or do that.
Well, deep this place. Just how far does it go?
There is a path
Sure.
this way as well.
Yeah, white buff again, please. No, not that buff. Oh my god. Why does the computer insist on giving me a dark sword buff when it's very clear that that is the wrong thing to do here? Is one of the NPC like personalities that they're idiots and like use the exact wrong thing? Maybe I accidentally Myers-Briggsed my way into that with my pawn. It's fine. They have the Holy Sword buff, because I gave it to them. Hold on. Yeah, Holy Boon and Dark Boon. And they'll cast Holy Boon on me sometimes. I can't unequip it from in here, right? So it's not like I can make a mid-dungeon decision. I'm guessing all the loot in this game is, like, randomly generated, too. Oh.
How purpose was this place built?
Change my mind. It might be that I need to play as... I need to do the Persona 3 thing and just play as the buffer slash healer. They seem to do an okay job of healing, but the difference in damage is like enormous. The holy weapons kill things in like 3 hits versus 30 hits with the dark buff. Partially random and partially offered loot. And I'm dead. I don't think I saved recently. Just before I fought the big little side room full of zombies. Oh, it sure is. Fucking hell. Save after every single enemy group, so as not to lose a bunch of time. Both have it. Yeah, so you're thinking she's casting Dark Boon and then no one can cast another weapon buff spell to replace it? I need that buff, goddammit. Oh, here you go. Wait, was my save before? Oh, never mind. I think I got 2 level ups. Gotcha, cool. She tends to be casting it before Bison's casting, I guess.
Can't but envy their endurance.
Thank you. Oh god. I didn't die there. Hear the harpy song. Oh, cool. That was neat.
Harpies will snatch you and fly.
Kingdom for lock on.
Beware when the creature dies.
Beast!
Beware the harpies.
What causes that?
It's within strike range. Perhaps we could avoid further battle.
I think that's a thing. So I assume that guy that I knocked off the ledge landed down here and dropped some items somewhere? I wonder if me dying repeatedly caused it to get despawned when I was like reloading the game or something.
Combat needn't be grueling, Arisen. If the party needs adjusting, adjust it.
I can't adjust the party on the fly, can I? Can I only do that from one of those pawn things? Pawn rocks?
Store of oil to keep the lantern burning.
This looks interesting.
I'm alone in wishing to be out of this place.
What's the point of poison and water flasks? They just for crafting?
What's that?
The door switch is this way.
Which way?
This looks interesting.
This single lever controls all the doors.
I know, right? Walkthrough bait at its finest.
Seems using this lever affects...
It would be kind of cool if you could respec in the dungeon. Like, I might actually enjoy doing that. Like, oh, okay, so I need to get rid of her Dark Boon ability. I need to maybe switch out this person for that person. But it sounds like what is meant to be a core mechanic of bringing the right party for the right encounter involves you going in and being bad at it and then leaving and coming back, which...
We've only just begun, Master. It is still too early to admit defeat.
Flames burning on the side of my face.
This looks interesting.
Yeah, it was nice that you could change gambits in 12. I still think that there's a puzzle game to be made out of Final Fantasy 12 gambits. You could do it like, what was that game? Opus Magnum? Where, like, you can always solve it inefficiently, but the objective is to try to beat it in a certain number of turns based on your gambit combination.
This looks interesting.
Yeah, the 3 let you do it. 35 years ago. The fact that the NPCs comment on it so much make me wonder if at some point they did let you respec mid-dungeon. You know what I mean? It seems like a pretty massive oversight when that seems to be the entire pitch for the game is recalibrate your party for the objective.
Shall we take a closer look? Strange, this light. What could be causing this light?
Yeah, I don't envision it as being an actual JRPG, but just kind of borrowing JRPG conventions to have you program your party for fights and just kind of hit go on the program. Now, you used to need to have an equip and swap macro in virtually every spellcast as a Black Mage in Final Fantasy XI. I don't think that was great. It's like elemental staves gave you a plus 10% damage boost to spells cast with that element, so it was correct to never cast an elemental spell without it being part of a macro that equipped the relevant elemental staff right before casting. Don't long for those days. It was kind of cool to need pieces of gear, but the weapon slot becomes more interesting when you need 8 weapons instead of 1. So bad. What you doing down here, M. Bison? You just chilling? Old school RuneScape combat, high-level combat is pretty dependent on weapon switches, but it's very manual skill cap. It's not something you can do with like a macro. not supposed to fight these? I'm definitely not making them hard enough that it seems obvious that that's what I'm supposed to do. Alright.
No, they hold the advantage.
So what happens when they die? They're not actually dead, right? I feel like this is guaranteed to happen when you're trying to run out, right? Because they're not going to be very good at sprinting behind you.
Please. I was clumsy.
Like, I feel like they needed to do something there where, like, the enemies, when you hit them, your weapons would bounce off of them. Maybe it's technically possible to do. If you get there super over-leveled or something. Knowledge chair?
I focus first on the weakest foes to rid the field of nuisance. Does this please your listen?
Sure.
Understood. I shall ever aim for the weakest in the group, with the aim of quickly shrinking the enemy's numbers. I try to speak or remain silent as the situation demands. Would you have me continue in this way, Master?
Yes.
As you wish.
No! I said yes, I want you to stay quiet.
Should I suffer a deadly blow, how shall I voice my anguish? If it pleases you.
Oh no. Let's do a thing that is clearly intensely mechanical and like presented as though it's like a flavorful conversation you're having. The effect being you just have way less control over them than you would like to, right? So do I have to like hold on. Do I have to go before I enter the rift to switch out my characters? I need to take all the items they've picked up and put them in my own inventory first, otherwise those items are forfeit forever. Is that true? Oh dear. No give all button, I take it. I have to let this wash over me. Wait, so what's stopping me from recruiting somebody, taking all of their shit? On's creator. Is this what's stopping me? So they just said if you try to unequip it, you don't get to keep it. We're just going to destroy it. Okay. Really? So can I recruit somebody, take all their shit, sell all their shit, and get infinite money that way? Or at least get decent gear that's on level without having to pay for it for my own class? This is like, so this was a thing in the olden days. Remember, like Final Fantasy IV, you had to know in advance that certain characters were going to leave your party. And you had to fully unequip them before they did, otherwise you were going to be a sad panda. But it's like that, but way worse. This is going into my bank. So who's the pawn's creator, though, if it's like the random NPCs that I'm recruiting rather than people on the internet? Still have to take all of their non-equipment stuff off of them, right?
Yes, Arisen?
I find it very puzzling that they don't.
Yes, Arisen? You cannot take on any
The
more followers.
pawn level 3 and level 4 don't level up with you.
I am honored to travel.
May our paths cross.
Non-equipped stuff they picked up, so it would go to the end automatically when I dismiss them without having to manually shift all of it every single time, is what you're telling me?
Yes, Arisen. If you should ever...
Okay. That makes more sense, at least.
Yes, Arisen. You cannot take on any more followers without releasing one of your current companions. I am honored to May our path...
This is a place quite restful to my kind.
Hello, can I help you?
So I could see that being kind of fun, using different pawns from like your friends and stuff on your friends list.
A light, in truth. I can say with utmost certainty, we cannot know if this small aberration will give rise to great calamity hence. But the chance enough is called to take action. We shall redouble our efforts here, and keep vigilant for further signs of change.
Beyond those gates lies the Duke's castle, I warrant.
Alright, where's the NPC to assign my skills? They're in every town.
Are you the Arisen? I bring a message from the Duke himself. His Grace has judged your feat in slaying the Hydra, most laudable. To honor your noble works, you are hereby welcome to the Worm Hunt. You may now accept orders from Sir Maximilian, Captain of the Hunt.
Oh, no.
Bring this writ to Sir Maximilian outside the castle gates. He will instruct you further. The document confers the status of Hunter upon you. Carry it on your person, always.
But I don't want to be a monster hunter. I want to be a dragon's dogma-er.
I'm trying to keep focus.
Beyond those gates lies the Duke's castle, I warrant. Duke Edwin Dragonsbane is a hero. He slew the worm a generation past. each grandsword.
Me, the master works all.
Well, these all have random shit like 1% lightning resistance. I'm like, okay, like. It's not going to alter the results of any encounter ever.
Master works all, you can't go wrong.
Even now, people work.
An armorer, I believe. This inn can serve as the hub of our journeys.
If you're newly come, have your pick. Any you like.
Learn skills. Oh, thank Christ, yes. Easier escapes? Is this like when you're sprinting, you get slowed when you're around enemies or something?
What will it be today? Have your pick. Any you like.
Oh yeah, other guy.
Today?
It automatically tries to replace it. Okay. Anodyne is healing.
What will it be today?
Fewer button presses to escape grab attacks. Yeah, that's kind of different.
What will it be today?
I'll go back and actually pick what I'm taking after this. No, I deposited my infinite fairy stone. It'd just be easier for me to decide what I actually want. I actually don't care about most of this.
What will it be today?
Still haven't seen a lantern run out of oil yet. Aura of Enlightenment? These like DLC equipments? My god. Let's pretend like they're not there. Take one of the rings, I guess. Link Strike, Burst Strike. Well, that's the one I'm using.
What will it be today? Have your pick. Come again.
There's a monocle in there that sells for 300k.
These last grants, have your pick. Any you like. Or will it be
This is a thing that I get from Dark Arisen, I guess.
Or will it be have your pick come again? These last have your pick come again soon.
The enlistment force scours the land for soldiers to man the frontier holds.
Some might say Dragon's Dogma is a video game.
The land over sing of his exploits, albeit in the broadest terms. Seems no one knows just how
cool. Bison, you're real chatty. They say are kind enough to give you infinite run in towns.
Ah, Arisen. My men have told me much of you. I have expected your visit. I am Sir Maximilian Eisenstern, captain of the hunt, so named by His Grace Duke Edmund Dragonsbane. I beg your forbearance whilst I detail what is expected of you in the hunt. The worm hunt license you carry permits the bearer to undertake the most vital of tasks. Those missions given by Duke Edmund himself. Of late, all our will is focused on learning of and defending against the wicked dragon. A weighty task, to be sure, but one which the fate of the realm and its people rests upon. I am under orders to lend Arisen all reasonable aid as they might require. I would pray you return this assistance in kind. Many hopes are pinned upon you, sir. It would be my honor to show you the ready charges for the worm hunt. The choice is yours.
All of these routing a monster infestation secretly?
Certainly. Then here are the details. I have important work for you, though some is of a less urgent nature. The task at hand is just such a case. Will you take it on? As I was setting about to find work for you, I came upon this slate. I know not its origin, nor its age, but the writing it bears is old. So old, our men could only read a few words. Dragon, scar, Arisen, heart. What little
that's
we know
me.
all points to you, sir. Best you should have it. If there's aught of import written there, we need to know. Your task is to find out.
Important locations, people or objects, will bear a quest marker. A man in the fields west of Grand Soren knows of the dragon force.
Inquiry around town is the worst thing the game could say, it feels like.
Said markers also.
Trying to keep focus. Fellow has to stay ready.
How's the day find you?
Was there actually a specific NPC who will give me more information here?
You'll find naught but the... Well, I suppose there could be...
There was one who knew of the slate in the markets.
In the markets.
You seem the type unlike to judge a man. I would ask you a favor, sir, if it please you, as you will.
I'm trying to keep...
My bit, I can fit.
My. A far cry from the... No.
Rounds in... You're an Arisen.
Somebody knows what I'm supposed to do.
I ran afoul of the dragon.
Everyone's gone.
Here we can rest, manage inventory.
Taking orders straight from the...
I am, yes. Do you have any tips? So it was from other players if they'd already played the game Yeah, it's a neat idea. I guess it suffers from that like Bravely Default problem where they have to be playing the game on release the same week you are.
Hail, traveler. Aye, well, you're not... Say, have you chanced upon the... Full of old ruins, too. My nerve left me past that. If you have the metal and the interest, perhaps you'll come back to share your fun.
This must be an alehouse.
No one knows what to...
One of them mentioned the market. I don't know if they specifically mean the ale house.
We've seen our share. Most were...
How's a day fun?
Nope. Never.
Patrons oft post work notices in the ale house.
The only thing missing from the masterpiece film Space Jam 2: A New Legacy was the quest board.
Hello, can I help you? Then I bid you...
Do mind your behavior inside, Master.
Do
A
mind your
slight
behavior
might
inside,
see you
Master.
arrested.
A slight might see you arrested.
It is quite the intricate maze of passages. I fear I'll soon be lost.
Set market.
Many's the person.
If you've caused to cross monsters, it's steel and muscle will see you through. Especially if it's steel. The masterworks all come again.
Take care, do that. West, take all do come.
It is dreadfully easy to while away hours just shopping.
I'm starting to worry that it might be a daytime thing. I already paid 500 gold to rest. The resting fee seems pretty high.
For myself, many you'll find naught but the you'll find thank you. You must rather you'll find thank you.
Cancel button is also the talk button. I'm just gonna look this up. Dragons, Dogma, Worm, Hunt, Quest, Inquire around town. Go to the fields of Grand Soren in the Craftsman's Quarter. Well, that's not what the NPC said, but okay. It's this thing all the way in the northeast.
There was one who knew of the slate in the markets.
I think this is very much an old, like, NES era RPG thing. Right? Talk to literally everybody in town, except unlike an NES JRPG where there's like 8 people in town, there's this giant living world.
None may enter the cup.
Okay, which one's the Craftsman's Quarter then? It's here, I guess.
From day to night, this area feels completely different.
Go to the field, speak with a farmer named Josias.
Hello, can I help you? Then I bid
Ooh, waypoint. It's supposed to be this field up here. I'm really glad I looked this up. I would have never found this in a million years otherwise.
is usually more lively.
Hello, can I help? Then
So there's a bunch of randos, many of which are pawns, but none of which are pawns that are going to be better than the ones you recruit from the pawns rock thingy. See someone who looks like a Josiah, let me know. Here, look at that Cornelius guy. It said in the field. Oh, really? It's kind of neat. Walkthrough doesn't say I have to come here during daytime, but now I'm worried that I do. I guess filling the town with a bunch of pawns and there not being any kind of visual indicator who is and isn't a pawn before you talk to them certainly makes quests like this where you have to talk to a rando much more difficult. I see. Josias. May be found in the fields. Be a screenshot of what he's supposed to look like.
Feed for livestock, no doubt.
Yeah. I guess Capcom is kind of a mixed bag when it comes to innovating, right? Like, sometimes they'll reinvent themselves. Like, they haven't just been making the same Resident Evil since forever. They've done some pretty wild things, but then they'll have games like Monster Hunter, which feel like they've been doing the same thing forever. And then all of a sudden they do Monster Hunter World or whatever, and suddenly they're making a bunch of big radical changes. It's very it's tough to guess, I think. Alright, I think I have to rest until daytime. I don't think this person spawns here. We have already failed the quest because it's nighttime.
A man in the fields west of Grand Soren knows of the Dragon Forge.
Well, that was more helpful than the one who said go to the market. It's interesting that the pawns can just be wrong. Is this the only way to pass time, is resting in an inn?
What will it be today?
Yeah, I have no idea with Capcom.
The Pawn Guild stands ahead. It is a gathering place for my kind.
What do I know of the old writings? Less than I know of modern script, and I never even learned me letters. Alas, I'm a man of the sword, not the quill. Ask a scrivener, or a counterfeiter else.
Towards the Black Cat. Oh, I have a quest marker now.
No harm in asking more of the common folk.
Perhaps the Black Cat's proprietor can read it.
I think Resident Evil is all over the place as a franchise. I think the only game that I really liked was the first Resident Evil 1 remake. GameCube one. The RE2 remake was pretty good. Like it was doing its own thing.
Ancient writings? Aye, that's simple enough. If you've the coin, that is. What? Oh, you just want alt red?
No, I didn't really care for RE7.
As I said,
So they're
simple
odd.
enough. That's dragon there, then scar, arisen, and heart there. The rest is no script, friend, just flourish. This slate's no text. It's a cipher. Like as not, it holds some secret meaning to folk those words relate to. I'm not one of them. I fear that's all I can say, friend. I'm sure you'll find all you need. Anytime.
7 felt better because they were trying to move away from the, like, insane camp. Which I guess camp isn't necessarily a problem, but it got to the point where it was, like, stupid. You know? But then it couldn't control itself. It had the Final Fantasy VII Remake problem. Dragon, Scar, Arisen, and Heart. Find the courier running around town. Oh my god. What the NPC who was telling me to go to the market was talking about a courier who occasionally runs to the market, but isn't there at nighttime, only in the daytime. There are many problems with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Many of them begin at the 75% mark or so.
Remember to save enough for lodging.
There's supposed to be a courier here. Morin.
We must all of us.
This guy. Yeah, timed quests in a game that is inconsistent about whether it uses quest markers or not. Like, I don't mind a game that goes out of its way to not have quest markers and make you, like, integrate yourself into the town and do the investigation, but here it just kind of feels like I'm just gonna look it up in a walkthrough, you know?
Your different countries, cities, people. Intriguing.
Oh, I'd agree with that. I was mostly referring to me joking that you could feel him and his team doing everything in their power to restrain themselves, and then they can't do it anymore. They can't help themselves. That's what RE7 felt like. Like they're doing their best to restrain themselves, and then the end of the game happens and they can't anymore. And then RE8 is this them exploding. No more restraint. I guess this NPC I'm looking for just runs around town. I know we're past time. I'm trying to make up for the disruptions earlier by going over a little bit. There's an actual time of day. Is it listed somewhere? He apparently has a path that he walks all day, but I don't actually have access to the time thing. I picked the wrong quest. I knew I should have just taken Route the Monster Nest, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do something different. The game is clearly trying to show me that it's not just Route the Monster Nest every time. I made a huge mistake.
Most of the doors are barred tight. For fear of the dragon, perhaps.
I guess something can be high camped while having some kind of restraint. So I don't dislike Resident Evil 5 and 6 because they're campy. I dislike them because they're unable to show any restraint ever.
This way leads on to the encampment.
Really? Oh no.
At least one can live without fear of monsters.
I'm just gonna try to avoid side quests for that reason. I'm guessing I can't fail the main quest.
All bearing different tales.
Wish I could see what time of day it was somewhere.
Remember to save enough.
This guy has like, he's got a yellow shirt with a blue shoulder thing. And he's got a little hat. And he runs around the town. He's supposed to be somewhere here during the day. But he leaves the town for 2 hours completely and isn't able to be talked to.
Most of the doors are barred tight. For fear of the dragon, perhaps.
Someone must know something about this matter. Let's ask around.
The scrivener at the Black Cat here can duplicate objects in your possession.
How does it work? Thank you for looking it up. I appreciate it. I've been at this for like 20 minutes. Find a sundial. Just recapping, I'm looking for a courier who has a complicated
Where shall we head?
pattern that they follow of where they are during the day.
Someone must know something about this matter. Let's ask around.
Yeah, I know, right?
Grand Sorin, the beating heart of all Grand
Hillfigure Knoll lies north of Grand Sorin.
I love that they had that. I think that that's like a pitch shifted voice. I don't think that's an actual person talking.
Army of scholars pore over old texts all to fight the worm.
I think they only did like 4 voices for the pawns and then pitch shifted all of them.
And we'll be on the path.
Seems this way leads outside as well.
After waiting for nearly an hour, he appeared. I made a bad choice. This was a mistake. Fucking kill me.
Must know something about this matter. Let's ask around. There's usually more lively.
There should be a quest marker when he's up. Like, following him? So he's just not here right now, we think.
The lively craftsman surely has its own trials.
Find him in the afternoon by entering from the northern gate of Grand Sorn and turning around to the entrance. There is. Oh, okay, thank you.
Dragon, heart, and scar, is it?
It's like
Does it have aught to do with
Majora's
that
Mask, but without any of the features of Majora's Mask that help you track this shit.
You know it, aye? The man drawn upon the hill north of the capital? He bears a scar across the heart. Or the chest, at least.
Someone must know something about this matter. Let's ask
A
around.
place one can live without...
This quest is stupid bullshit. I wish I could give the game creators a piece of my mind. 2016.
Which one? Let's make sure of our destination before we set out. A mild
Let us head north.
enterprise is well suited for human life.
We share these roads with traveling peddlers, guardsmen.
Turn out your pockets and be quick about it!
Nah.
This way! Get him!
I think combat math.
Rogues! Have you found aught?
So this is the captain. He's vast.
It's not the worst thing, but
Stay watchful. Something
what was it? Was it
nearby.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, where like the difference between your level and the enemy's level could determine whether it was even worth fighting them at all? Like you either had an actual battle that was like correctly tailored, or you trivially won the fight without having to do anything or pay attention, or the game was almost impossibly difficult and it would take you an hour to win. Or it would be literally impossible. It needs horses. Yeah, it works in WoW. Lots of interest. I can't save because I'm poisoned, right?
File through your wounds.
Right.
If you lose your way, you need but consult your map.
Well ancient, this bridge.
I just think it's one of those concepts that just doesn't work because
Hand over anything of worth you've got.
you have to either spend a ton of time balancing your game so that nothing is ever trivial, like having some kind of level scaling system or thinking about the math so much that level doesn't really matter. Or I guess doing something like Dark Souls where like each individual level is not that big of a deal, but that getting to certain gear breakpoints can make a difference, or spell breakpoints, or health breakpoints for not getting one shot can make a difference. But that the game is still broadly playable at level 1, right? Like I feel like that's the optimal way to do level ups. I would say level ups should just be mechanics though, like new skill and passive unlocks.
Don't overdo it.
We've only just begun, Marstead.
Goblin!
Before setting off,
Does this game plan to be online at some point? Well, it seems like a lot of games, you know, there's that cryptocurrency problem where like all the innovations in crypto exist to solve problems that were introduced by crypto. Like, a lot of innovations in RPG design seem to exist to resolve problems that were introduced by having XP and level ups make your character stronger. There was a Dragon's Dogma MMO. I see. The mission is going to be combat oriented eventually. Sleep maybe isn't the best mechanic to have enemies spam on you in this game. Yeah, that'd be kind of neat, especially if they were like pawns that you previously worked with, coincidentally. Yeah, the wandering pawns seem like a cool concept, but I feel like they need to be like distinguished in some way and do something other than it just being a curiosity, you know?
It's an imposing sight from so close.
I'll take that.
Yeah, give it a shot. This game is constantly threatening to be interesting. So I would agree that I'd like to see Dragon's Dogma 2, because I feel like Capcom isn't known for being ridiculously traditionalist, but they have been traditionalist, but there's some hope that maybe they'll like try to make Dragon's Dogma a bit better, you know. I'm glad to have played this at least to appreciate that better once it comes out, if nothing else. Are there any pawns who are just bad, who just have fewer skills than other similarly leveled pawns that you just shouldn't use for that reason? So like the enemy who is automatically tanked by female characters, or enemies where there's like a certain body part that you have to knock off to make them reasonable, or a certain element that makes them interesting, like all of the things are cool and would work better if you had more ability to build around it. Like I think actually having the pawns notice those things and call them out and be like, oh, this one's weak against holy, or hey, cut its tail off, or whatever. Like, it kind of solves the usual problem of a game like this where there's no way to know that in your first playthrough. I think if they temper their scope a little bit with the pawns next time, try not to make them, like, more than what they are, you know?
Never mind the beasts. I'll take the loot.
No one's going to buy them as actual people with, like, thoughts and feelings and personalities, you know? Just do FF12 gambits, it's fine. There's technically a sleep status effect in Elden Ring, but does an enemy ever use it on you? Is it just a player thing?
What's this?
All the carrots.
What's that?
I think that was probably a good decision. Like I said, some of the enemies look really cool and they feel pretty weighty. Like I've seen a million chimeras before in video games, and the one at the crazy, ridiculous combat demo actually felt pretty cool to fight. I know it's really good as a player ability, but it feels like it would be bad for enemies to inflict it on you. Like it wouldn't feel good to play.
I know what he seeks to know, knows it well.
Okay.
While he who knows not,
This guy.
knows not what I know, or know not.
The reason this game is like Skyrim is because it has a helmet with horns on it.
Then congratulations are due.
Is this the first story event since, like, a dragon ate my heart?
I am, or was, perhaps like you, a child of man, bound to the dragon. Well met, young Arisen. I am he who was forged by the dragon.
He gestured to where my head would have been if I wasn't a halfling. Oh, that's kind of cool.
We finally arrived.
That seems like a good stopping point. Future Marstead, you need to replace Eduardo and Avicenna basically anytime you get to a new town. If you can find new pawns that are higher level than them, go to the little pawn stone and swap them out. Their items will automatically go into your bank storage. You've recently gotten new equipment. You have an item from the DLC, a monocle headgear that you can sell for 300k gold, so the next time you have to upgrade, you can just fully upgrade yourself and M. Bison, your mage character. You are trying to unlock abilities here is kind of the primary main objective. You want to get your rank maxed out, I think, on Fighter before you switch to another job, but you can change jobs at the inn in the big town. You have an item you can use that will let you warp places you've been to before. It's under tools, and it's the Eternal Fairy Stone. That's also a DLC thing, so don't be afraid to use that. Maybe check to see if the place you're currently in is a warpable location. The quest you're doing right now is the main story quest, so you can continue with that. Hold R1 to use R1 skills, L1 to use L1 skills. Right now, that doesn't matter, though. Just mash X until everything dies. And good luck. We're all counting on you. Thanks for putting this game on your subblock, Kami. I'm sorry if I've been a little negative about it. It's baffling to me, and it's fun to try to understand it. I would like to play it more. Putting it on the subblock, I think, would be interesting. And I think I would like to play it before the new one comes out, just to kind of understand what all they've improved with the second one, assuming they've improved it.